Hey guys, it's Drac. I'm doing a Magic the Gathering video. Obviously we're playing Standard. I have my good buddy Zach. This means what you think it means. We're both going to start at 20 life because that's how the game of Magic works. I'm actually playing my favorite kind of deck. If you look through as I'm flipping through my deck, and I'll do a full deck tech and an explanation of all of my card choices in a separate video, I am playing a sweet Esper control list, and normally this would be super illegal, but I'm going to kind of give you the flavor of Zach's deck as well. Zach is playing what is the big elephant in the room deck in Standard right now, and it's the Unburial Rites deck, which means that sometimes Zach just wins on turn 4. So, should be an interesting matchup. We'll roll to see who goes first. We'll play game 1 as though it were a tournament, and then we will roll to, we'll roll to see who goes first, play game 1 as though it were a tournament, talk about our sideboarding strategies, and finish out the match. So, you're welcome to cut. I'm going to high roll, and I've rolled a 5, which is pretty low. And you've rolled an 8. So, play or draw?
Definitely the play.
Alright, so whenever my opponents take the play, I put play just so that I remember everything, and if any mulligans happen, I will show you how those work when they happen. So, this hand is a little risky against pretty much any deck. It has very little interaction, and we only have 2 of these. This is a deck that likes a lot of these, so I think we have to, we'll live a little dangerously, I guess. We have a couple of turns to draw our way out of it, so we'll keep.
I'll keep.
Alright.
Go to 18.
Alright, so play a shock land, go to 18.
Pass.
Seems good. Whoops. Alright, so sometimes we get lucky. We'll pass.
Sometimes.
You know, occasionally we get lucky. So the Arbor Elf on the board is a little awkward. Mulch. The fact that he did it before playing a land tells me that he might be a little land light, but we'll see.
Wow, that happened.
Hopefully he doesn't have a follow-up land drop, but we're going to learn a little something about his hand.
Good.
More mana dorks. That's pretty bad for us. So what we really want to draw here more than anything else is a black source. And sometimes you just get there. So we're just going to slow you down a little bit. We will Tragic Slip your Arbor Elf. And we'll pass.
Go to combat?
Yep.
Alright.
Alright, so we'll take 1 from the Avacyn's Pilgrim and go to 19.
Go ahead.
So Zach was not land light at all. We just keep drawing these. This is exactly what this deck wants to do. We will play the best land and pass.
Gonna be one of those games, huh?
It is. It's gonna be a draw-go game.
Go to combat.
Sure.
Correct.
We will go to 18.
Pass.
So it looks like Zach's hand might be a little bit slow. There are no real serious scary targets for reanimation yet. It's debatable as to whether or not I should do this now or try and use it later to deal with something else. I think that since we don't have anything better to do, we will hold up on doing this to the Avacyn's Pilgrim and do this instead because it kind of catches everything. So we're just going to play an island and verdict.
Yep.
Alright, we'll pass.
Pass.
No Thragtusk, that's good. So it's arguable now what we want to do. Since we still don't have any real interaction, I think the best thing to do is play this because it takes no damage, get this guy online, and try and start drawing answers. We don't want to start milling him yet because it's bad for us, but we're going to play our favorite Planeswalker,
Yep.
which is Jace. We're going to target ourselves for the draw this, and mill a Liliana of the Veil. And our draw is sweet, so we'll pass. No! Unburial Rites, okay.
Healer.
So you've brought back a Centaur Healer, which means you go to 21.
Go ahead.
The Centaur Healer is kind of a problem because it can kill Jace, which is pretty sad, and it doesn't die to this, which is really sad. So we will lay land, we'll activate Jace to draw a card
Yep.
and mill you a card. Or I draw this. No, my bad.
Okay.
I'm drawing this. I was doing things out of
you
order.
can mill me if you want.
I bet I can, Mr. Reanimator. So we mill an Azorius Charm, which kind of stinks. We will pass the turn and hope we find a way to deal with Centaur Healer.
Go to combat.
Sure.
Jace.
Alright, so we're going to think once.
Do Terminus.
And then I think we have to think twice. And we found no answers, which is really sad. So Jace is going to go to 3.
Rites.
Sure. That's 2 rights in Zach's yard, and you are at 24.
Pass turn.
So it's going to be really hard to kill Zach with damage, and we need to hit a board sweep really bad. Just to protect our Jace, otherwise we're in some serious, serious trouble.
I don't think I've ever Rites a Centaur Healer before, much less 2 of them.
Must be nice.
Not the words I would choose.
So I think that this is our best answer right now to protect our Jace. We're going to take him to 4.
Sure.
I'll draw a card and mill 1. And we draw not an answer, which kind of stinks. So we'll play a Glacial Fortress, and we're just going to snap Verdict.
Mm-hmm.
And that kills our Snapcaster, of course, because he has to resolve before we can cast Verdict. And we'll pass. We still don't have like a lot of the answers that we're looking for to start milling Zach to death.
Rites.
Unburial Rites, another Centaur Healer. You were at 27.
Go ahead.
So, never say we don't get what we ask for, because we have plenty of these. I'm not sure. I think that this is the turn that we finally want to go all in on one of these, and that's probably the plan. So we'll do this, and then we will, I'll draw 1, mill 1. So we draw this, which is kind of cool, and mill a Terminus.
Hooray!
Yay! I've laid a land. I have 8 cards in hand, so I have to discard. I will discard this Godless Shrine and pass.
Cards in hand. 7.
I have 7.
Go to combat.
Sure.
Crack it, Jace.
Jace will go to 2. Sure.
Go ahead.
So we're going to cast Revelation for 5. Go to 23. Draw 5 cards. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're still not hitting, like... I guess we can just... Sure, Grizzly Salvage.
Well, okay. Guess we're gonna take a lot with Troll.
So these are all pretty dangerous things. Grizzly Salvage is obviously instant speed, so Zach's doing it while I'm tapped out, but I've already untapped. So I'll draw for my turn. Lay a land. And it's probably time to try and kill Zach. I'm not sure if it's an effective strategy, but it's really all we can do. So I laid the wrong land. I'm going to play Takesies Backsies.
Judge.
Yep. Zach's teasing me because I'm a judge. So it's tough to decide if it's dangerous to start milling Zach or not yet. I think we play Sorin, actually. And then Sorin will go to 4, make a 1/1 vampire guy. Here, we even have a vampire. We'll pretend this is a Sorin vampire. Then I will draw a discard with Jace. Or is that correct? I mean, it's happening now. So we'll draw, mill an Augur of Bolus, and then we'll go to discard. At this point we have plenty of these. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We will Discard 4 lands. Your go.
It's certainly one of the more awkward games I've played.
Yeah, your deck is having a real hard time getting stuff either into the yard or... I don't think it's that.
It's just mana flooded.
Right.
It's part of the game. However irritating. Go to combat.
Sure.
Jace.
Alright, Vampire block, I'll gain 1. At 24.
Main phase 2.
Sure.
Flashback, Lingering Souls.
Sure.
Should take,
Yeah, why not?
Hardcast. You got the counter magic?
I do not.
Cool, he's gonna live through the verdict.
It's pretty bad.
Not gonna live through the terminus, though. Go ahead.
I will drown you at the end of your turn. Nephalia Drown Yard for 3. So those 3 things are milled. And then we will take a time. So the strategy here is to like attempt to protect our planeswalkers while we gradually try and mill them to death with the Drown Yards and Jace. So we will use Jace to mill you for 10.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey, my gas!
Alright, so we hit
Found it.
a couple of Angels and a Crater Hoof Behemoth. All of these things are pretty dangerous for us. And so now we need answers. I think we're going to make a guy with Sorin. My vampire is back, and I'll pass the turn.
That's interesting.
The answer to your question is I don't have the Terminus.
I mean, obviously. Otherwise, it would have needed to come down. Attempt a hardcast, flashback rights.
Rites is resolves target.
Crater Hoof Behemoth.
Okay, we have responses to Crater Hoof.
I bet you do!
Yeah, we definitely do. We're going to start by Dimir Charming, and we're going to use the mode Destroy target creature with power 2 or less. I forgot this countered sorceries. We could have countered it. He has 2 Unburial Rights, so that would have been bad. So we're going to destroy this Lingering Souls
Seems
token.
Good.
Then he enters the battlefield, and in response to his trigger, we're going to ultimate price him.
That's kind of lame.
So all of your guys are going to get
+3/+3 and trample.
+3/+3 and trample. So that happens,
Yep.
I guess.
Alright, so we're looking at 5/4. You know what? For the sake of this turn, they're
Sure.
not counters, but
They're big.
it'll be easier for people to understand.
It will.
6 open mana, cards in hand. What, 5?
I have 5 left, yeah.
Yep.
So I really want to try and do this and hit a Terminus, but I think that this is the better play, and we'll figure out kind of what his attacks are before we go that route.
We're gonna go these 2 at Jace, and this guy is Sorin.
Alright, so those are pretty ideal for us. We can Tragic Slip the Lolith Troll, which gives it
Yep.
-13, -13.
Yep. Definitely can't make him big enough to stop that.
And that kills that, and then we can protect our Jace by Azorius Charming the Centaur Healer, choosing mode, put it on top of the library. We actually can't block this with our Vampire token, so Sorin's just going to take 4 to the face and go to 1.
Alright, main phase 2.
Sure. I only have 2 mana up now, and they're both
Alright,
Drown
guys.
Yards. So you are at 32.
Go ahead.
It's important to note that Zach's life total isn't really important to us just because we're exclusively trying to mill him out at this point. That is our strategy.
Unfortunately, I don't believe I can handle that sort of clock at the moment.
So we're going to mill you for 10.
Particularly with the other Sphinx that's probably sitting in your hand.
I do have more
I know you
gas.
6, 7, 8, 9. Hooray! My answers!
Why can't I hold all these answers? So for my land drop, I'm going to drop a Catacomb and then Soren will make a vampire, because that's what he does. So I have 2 of these guys. They are not coming into the red zone at all. This guy's back to being a 1/1.
Yes, he is. That's why we don't put counters on them.
And then I'll pass the turn.
It's probably important to note that if this were a competitive tournament, we would be scooping at this point, because we can't handle the drown yards, let alone the Jace that's still on the board. So even if we deal with him, we still lose. My favorite part about the game, inevitability.
We're going to try and protect Jace, because it's a more polite way to win, but at this point we have 2 drown yards online, and Zach doesn't even know about this, so that's the plan.
Because we know we've lost, I think it'd be really funny to do this. Centaur Healer.
You're at 35, sir.
Flashback Lingering Souls.
You're gonna get some souls.
Unless you stop the Crater Hoof that's coming out, it's probably lethal.
So now we have to to respond to Crater Hoof Behemoth by casting a Think Twice. Uh-oh. Now we're going... No. He doesn't resolve yet. We're gonna...
Flashback
Think Twice. This is why we don't scoop, is because we're in some serious trouble right now. We might need to dig for one more answer. I'm not sure.
Behemoth's the card.
Alright. So, in response to his trigger, we're going to Victim of Night, Crater Hoof Behemoth.
Unfortunately, that means I do not have enough damage to represent lethal, but it's still really funny.
So all of your guys are going to get...
+5/+5.
Lovely.
I mean, it's irrelevant. These 3 have summoning sickness, and I represent, like...
I have 2 lifelink guys.
Yeah, I know.
How many cards are in your library?
I know it's done. Like, even if I kill Jace, I'm not gonna...
Oh no, you're dead.
I know.
Alright, so we'll go to game 3. I mean, it's not just inevitability. So I had to draw into the Think Twice. I was holding the 3rd Drown Yard, and I had a Sphinx, and that was it. I was like, we need an answer. Where was Terminus when we needed it? It was not coming. Alright, so I'll talk about my sideboarding strategy first, and then you can kind of talk about yours. So, Zach's playing an Unburial Rites deck, and luckily, Unburial is so popular in the format right now that if we go into our sideboard, you can see that I have some answers for it. Primarily, I have things like Negate to counter it, and then Purify the Grave and Tormod's Crypt to slow it down. Aetherize works, but we're actually not so much worried about the quick kill as we are, like, trying to race Zach.
Aetherize doesn't work.
I didn't think so.
No, I just hardcast everything. In fact, like, Tormod's Crypt will slow me down a little bit. People think it'll stop me. It doesn't even remotely stop me.
Purify the Grave is the best sideboard card in this matchup because it allows us to, like, aggressively try and mill Zach to death and use it as a tempo card. Because when he casts his Unburial Rites, or if he starts hardcasting threats, we're in trouble. But if he casts Unburial Rites, we have the ability to steal his target and really slow him down. So we pull out Liliana of the Veil because she's really slow. We pull out Soren, Lord of Innistrad, because we're not killing Zach with damage. That's an interesting sideboard. How do you feel about, like, going entirely tempo and putting in restos and stuff? I think it might be bad.
It's not good enough.
I think I have to, like...
If I resolve Rites or...
Yeah, then it's over.
There's too many things that I can do. You're not gonna out.
The verdicts are a little slow. The Forbidden Alchemy is a little slow. We just want all counter magic and ways to, like, answer threats. The Victim of Night is alright. The Tragic Slip slows him down. The Dim Your Charm is actually a counter magic spell in this matchup, which I forgot about. So we need to bring out 2 more cards. I think we bring out another one of the verdicts. Now we're left with 2 verdicts in our main board, which is something you guys don't quite know. And then some of the slower, less effective cards. It's really dangerous to start pulling out Think Twices. I could pull out 1. That's what I do sometimes when I don't know what else to do. And the restos are actually, the one of resto I don't mind keeping in, because it's a roadblock with flash. So I think I will pull out a Think Twice, and this is how I'm boarding. I don't know how you feel about this. It might be a little wrong.
That's fine, that's fine. That's all fine.
I mean, I know that I bring out these guys
That's correct.
and these.
That's
The Forbidden Alchemy is kind of like but we have to slow down like our do nothing past draw turns and
That's
like.
fine. No.
I just think it's really important to have like an answer for the first couple of Burial Rites. So while Think Twicing and Determinus is cute, it's not something we can rely on. So how does the Rites deck deal with Esper?
Alright, well, this is the current sideboard that I have right now, and I might tweak it a little bit before the Open coming up. In fact, I definitely will. But
Yeah.
this is what I played with at the Bronze event, and it did fine. I feel like 3 Death Right's way too heavy. I almost want to side in Death Right against you, but the problem is, like, even though you're a control deck, and I'd like to be able to be equipped to grind it out with you, I'm not inherently made to grind it out with you. And while I would love for him to draw out some removal, I feel like he's not going to do enough in the long run versus the other things that I would have to take out. This obviously does nothing. Life total isn't relevant against you. If I thought you were going to side in Rest in Peace, despite you running white, I might side this in. But Rest in Peace is really the only thing that I can think of that I'd really want to drop it on. It's not really worth the slot. These two are the main. These guys are the main things.
This guy scares me if he resolves. These two are really bad if you start blowing up my lands, and like you said, you could hit a Rest in Peace with them, which you don't necessarily know that I don't sideboard.
It doesn't matter. I don't expect most people. I don't want to say most people, but people. It's not as popular these days because Purify the Grave's finally making it up, and you should honestly have what's it called, Evil Twin in there, and they're doing like clone and all sorts of stuff with that, and so I'm not really worried about that. This is a big deal because even with the great mana fixing that we have in Standard right now, knocking off your colors kind of hurts, but most of all, it makes your Sphinxes way less good, and that's a huge problem for your deck.
The huge problem is just like, I want to make a land drop every turn so that my Sphinxes are good, but more importantly, I can just like chain spells together.
Yep, and I don't know, I almost want to put Somberwald Sage in there, but it's not... Really,
I still have enough removal that I think that it's not great.
Not just that, but like, what do I ramp into? I ramp into like an Angel, okay, and then Somberwall dies, and I'm stuck. Like, I'm not necessarily time walked, but it's almost like everything was just undone. I pulled out a few answers. It's not really worth the slot. As far as what comes out against you, a lot of people would take out like brag tests and stuff because life gain's not relevant. But I feel like a recurring 5/3 beater is a really big deal. Centaur Healer doesn't do much.
Right.
Despite him, you know, being Rites like 3 times in the last match. It's not exactly normal. I like Lotless Troll, but I don't want to go and take out all my Centaurs because he's still a 3/3 beater, and I run 2 in the board. I feel like taking out 1 is fine. I'm not usually put in a position where, like, God, I wish I had him. Sometimes it's just nice.
Right. I mean, I have a lot of answers for him that I showed you. So I get that. It's not just a Verdict deck, like it also has the Tragic Slip and the Terminus.
I kind of want to take out Lingering Souls, but I'm not going to because two 1/1 flyers can go to work, and they can really force...
It's actually a reasonable clock for me.
I know.
Like, sometimes I have to ultimate price a Lingering Souls.
Which is why I think, as much as, like, I wanted... You know what? Not this. We're not going to take him out. We're going to take out 1 Crater Hoof. Because Crater Hoof against your deck is really... He's good when he hits, but your deck runs stuff like Azorius Charm, and it can just make him really ineffective. Angel is nice because it just commands board presence, and it allows me to take control of the game.
It also lets you recur your threats.
Yeah, but Crater Hoof is a finisher, and like this is a much better finisher against you, because you can't deal with it unless you get your 1 Victim of Night. This guy, however, is very easy to kill. Like, you just ultimate price him last game.
Yeah.
It's not...
I agree with that entirely. Alright, let's shuffle up and play.
Yep.
So I'm going to restart the life totals for game 2. We have 20 for Zach, 20 for me, and Zach is on the play. He hasn't told me that yet, but I know that Zach's going to be on the play because he doesn't want to let the Esper deck have time to get online.
I also don't like being on the draw. Being on the draw is bad.
Ouch, he said to the control player.
You need your land drops more than you need to draw a card.
Well, sometimes I need to draw the lands. My hand last game had 2 lands in it.
I just kept drawing them. I couldn't believe it. I mulched completely into gas. I'm like, really? Are we doing... Is this the kind of game we're playing? Okay.
I think I drew Runner Land and then continued to see a few more. Alright, so this isn't bad. And I think we can keep this. It's a little awkward that these come into play tapped because this is the only basic that we have, but that's not the end of the world. We can cast all of our spells.
We're definitely gonna mull. See, we've got this neat little cavern, and then no.
No more lands. No, it's okay.
I mean, we could cavern into elf.
You
That's
play
the thing.
cavern on elf and then can't untap anything else.
You're
All
right. You know what? We should have kept it, right?
Ah.
Yep.
It never
This
fails.
is why we don't look up.
Alright.
Next.
So whenever my opponent mulligans, I write M6. At competitive events, it makes it really easy to remember that they've taken a mulligan, so that if at some point you ask them how many cards are in their hand or a judge is called, you can make game state really clear and prove that your opponent might be trying to pull a fast one on you. Hope these are better.
We'll find out. Maybe Liz gave me her bad luck with the right stack.
Maybe.
She just texted me, "Hey, can't draw it." Nope, she did not. Okay.
Alright. Cool.
Alright, go ahead.
So we'll lay an isolated travel and pass.
Go ahead.
Island and pass.
Salvage.
I feel like we negate the salvage. I'm not entirely sure if that's right, but we just can't afford you to get off the ground.
That is correct, and I thought about playing the main phase salvage just in case, but
And we just can't let you get off the ground until we have enough lands to deal with it.
18?
You're at 18.
21.
You're at 21.
Go ahead.
I guess that's how you beat the shock land. So we're finally being punished for our greedy keeps, which I'm sure Zach is thrilled about. We're going to lay an isolated chapel tapped and
Augur.
play an Augur of Bolus because I feel like we have one more
You
turn.
get that land with that auger.
There was a land on top. We'll reveal the syncopate. This is great, but we're not drawing a lot of lands, and we need just all of the ways to deal with your threats. So it's your go.
Go to combat.
Sure.
Right.
I'm at 17.
Main phase 2. We won't make the same mistake again. Go to 19.
You're at 19. Resto. Blink him. You're at 22.
Good.
So Zach has quite the Air Force, which is a little dangerous for us. We do have some answers to it, but they're not great answers. Like, this is how we're going to try to deal with it. And he knows we have this, which stinks because it's not a surprise. We'll pass the turn.
Go to combat.
Sure.
Crack.
We will
Charm.
attempt to ultimate price this angel.
That happens.
And then we'll take 3, go
Yep.
to 14.
Pass turn.
So Zach missed a land drop, which we're kind of excited about. So it's debatable here whether or not we want to have this next turn for 1 and use this to draw a card right now to try and hit more lands, because that's important for our deck. And some players wouldn't do this, but I feel like I know that my deck only has 1 route to victory, so I'm going to take that choice. I'll Azorius Charm, draw a card. This is actually a fine card. It's not a land, so we'll pass.
Combat.
Yep.
Crack.
We will block.
Slip. Dice.
Yep.
Slip.
Nope.
Nope. Man phase 2. Go ahead, syncopate that.
Nope.
Go.
Alright, so we blocked with the Augur because this is what we drew off of our Azorius Charm. Before we take our turn, I think that we're just going to cycle the other Azorius Charm. It's really important to hit our land drops, and since we've already gone onto that plan, like, it's in there now. And we'll draw for our turn. So see, we were rewarded after all. We had to dig pretty deep, but we did hit a land, and now we're going to cast a Supreme Verdict.
Yep, there it is.
Your go.
Pass.
Alright, so we're really happy right now. Zach didn't cast a spell, and we're finally starting to draw lands, and we have a good deal of answers. So we will play a Hallowed Fountain tapped and pass.
Turn too late. Go.
Think once.
Yep.
And then we will think twice.
Yep.
If you've got the salvage, it'll resolve.
Not that lucky.
We can't all be that lucky.
Evidently.
I will play a land and pass. I have 6 in hand. resolves.
Pass.
So we keep drawing these, which is fine, but we really need a way to like start killing Zach now, because we've got the tempo to get us there, but what we need is to draw our one of Jace, so we'll pass.
That's interesting. Angel.
Sure. That's
Yeah, it resolves.
rough.
Targets these three.
Must be nice.
Yep, something like that.
My go?
Yep, pass turn.
Pow.
Whew.
We needed it too. So we'll bury those guys, and now we have to deal with this slew of threats all over again. We just cast Terminus for its miracle cost, obviously. Gonna lay another Hallowed Fountain tapped and pass the turn. It's debatable as to whether or not we should have done this when he first cast those guys. Sure. See, now this is tough, because the Centaur, if we draw into an answer, it's really bad to burn these now, but I feel like the Centaur combined with the Resto and the Pilgrim is a very quick clock. I'm really regretting misplaying and not using these on the targets for the Angel. At least the scary ones.
I misplayed and missed my early acceleration.
You did. You let me negate your Grizzly Salvage. So I think we'll let him resolve, and we'll hope that we draw into answers.
Master. Terminus.
Not yet. So we're living pretty dangerous. It's your go. He doesn't have the mana to.
I'm gonna go ahead and syncopate that.
I'm actually fine by the Grizzly Salvage. I have answers at this point. Oh boy. I forgot your deck ran Gavany Township. We might be in trouble.
I'll take the Gavany.
So we need a board sweep now, and that's really dangerous because we sideboarded out some of our board sweeps.
Go to combat.
Sure.
Both.
I have no responses.
Gavany.
Sure, so they each get... There's one for him.
Yep.
So that's 4, 5, 6. I'm at 8.
Go ahead.
So we have actually no more turns to live if we don't draw an answer. And we're dead. I drew a Glacial Fortress. Yep. And I have a hand full of answers.
Well, I found my gas. I can hard cast 2 more angels.
That's gross.
I was sitting there and I'm like, this is unbelievable. I'm sitting with 3 angels in hand and a Thragtusk.
I know.
Syncopates there.
My
Anticipate too.
my misplay is not Purify in the Grave when you targeted with your angel. I feel like I really needed to stop these guys from coming back.
Yeah. We help you out a lot.
And those would not have... Well, Snapcaster would have been really helpful. But
would have augured him out of the way. Looking for answers.
Snapcaster was first.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Snapcaster then Augur.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll go to game 3. I don't think that our sideboard strategy changes a lot. I had forgotten that Zach runs the Gavany Township, which lets his little guys be quite the threat on their own. But I don't think Tormod's Crypt is just as good. We'll keep the Tormod's Crypt.
You should.
I think it's better than having a Supreme Verdict against you, just because Supreme Verdict...
It dissuades me from playing Rites.
It does.
Unless I'm sitting on like 4 of them, I'm not going to play one just to make you crack it.
That's fine.
Alright, let's draw reasonable hands. Play well, like we know how to play this game.
Well, we've both misplayed a little bit, which is kind of part of the video making process, I think. I think it was the worst Fang signature ever. So I get to be on the play, as denoted by my lovely P after my 20. So hopefully we can draw a reasonably aggressive hand. Now, aggressive in this deck means like a few answers, lots of card draw, and some lands. This is not a keepable hand. As much as I'd love to keep it because it has like some answers, it has only a white source and a drown yard, and it would not have gotten there, so I'm fine by this. So I'm gonna mulligan a 6.
I'll keep.
Yay!
As denoted by the card that flipped out of my hand.
I actually didn't see it. Maybe the camera caught it, but I did not notice. So my lovely viewers can like chuckle at me because
Your singular viewer.
all of them, all one of my viewers who understand the Magic the Gathering. The one guy who watches these videos start to finish just to chuckle at me misplaying and losing to all my buddies.
I bet he doesn't read the description under the video.
Nobody reads my description boxes. Alright, so this hand is alright, and it's about as good a 6 as I can ask for, so we're going to keep it. And we'll start with Godless Shrine tap. Pass.
Pass.
Go.
Go.
Go. So we're drawing the things we need, but not the answers that like we want.
Pass.
This is a great card for us right now. It's exactly what we wanted to draw into. We will leave up our black. Augur?
Salvage.
Sure.
Resolve.
Salvage resolves.
Hey, stuff.
At least there are no targets for that Unburial Rites. Yeah, the Cavern's gross. I will resolve my Augur trigger. And I'll take this Terminus. It's kind of sad burying
Seems
this guy.
good.
It's your go.
What do? I think we go...
Cavern on Angel, probably. That happens.
Cool. It's also worth noting that that was a slight misplay because I do have a land to play, and if you were to syncopate for 1, I would cry.
Oh man, I wish we could do it. Yeah.
Sequencing, go.
Sequencing is important. Okay, so we have 2 lines of attack right now, and I feel like this is the one that matters. Because it's really...
Play that, Jace.
No, it's tough to kill you with damage.
Kill that Jace.
I know you will. I will swing for 1.
You do that.
I have you at 19.
Alright.
I will play... You know I have the ISO Chapel. I feel like by swinging with the Augur, I'm telling you that I'm going to board wipe, which is really bad. I think we're just swinging because he can't block the flyers, and we can't Terminus this turn, so that kind of stinks. So we're actually going to play the Drown Yard instead and start living a little dangerously. Sure, go.
That's pretty ballsy.
If you saw my hand, you'd understand. Like, I don't have a very reactive hand, I guess. So I'm just trying to fight through your stuff.
20, right?
You're at 19.
No, what are you at?
20.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Combat.
Sure.
Correct.
Take 2. I'm at 18.
Man phase 2. Cavern on Beast.
Sure.
Thorax Tusk.
That's gross.
Gain 5, good 24.
Oh yeah, you're at 24. We are not killing you with damage.
Pass turn.
So we can mill him, which might be the play, and then try and Terminus away just a Thrag Tusk, which seems gross, but he'll Unburial Rites it if we don't. So I think we're going to mill you.
Oh yeah.
We might have just lost. It's not the end of the world because you could hard cast it. Actually, you couldn't. You didn't have the white. This is bad.
You're in trouble.
Yep. I almost like don't want to keep going. It hurts. So, what are our options here? We really need to hit our Victim of Night, but it almost just doesn't even matter.
You Drown Yard way too early. I don't know what's in your hand, but like
just no reactive spells.
The fact that you accelerated me this early, like every time that you've beaten me by mill, you've gotten me. Are you Drown Yarding me, or are you playing?
No, I'm gonna Verdict, I think. I have to verdict.
Sure.
Yeah, you get a beast. I'll pass.
Combat. Correct.
Sure. I'm at 15.
Direct desk.
Sure. You're at 29.
Go ahead.
I will ultimate price this Thrag Disc. So we can do this and then play this. So we'll do that.
Terminus.
We will Supreme Verdict,
Ooh.
kill your beasts, then we'll cast an Augur.
Sure.
Augur finds Azorius Charm.
Sure.
Pass the turn. You actually know what both of the cards in our hand are at this point.
Because we know that, and because he's tapped out, this would probably be an excellent point to go ahead and flashback Rites.
Grab the Obsidat.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is, yeah, that's probably play.
It's pretty crippling.
Yeah. Flashback Rites.
Sure. Obsidat enters the battlefield. I go to 13. You go to 31. The numbers are inverted.
Flashback Lingering Souls.
Why not?
Pretty much. Make you do it. Pass the turn, phase out.
Sure. So real quick, Obsidat has this ability where at the beginning of your end step you can exile him. Zach's putting it on top of his library so he doesn't forget to put Obsidat back into play.
I don't forget, but all my teammates do.
He draws it. So he's on there. So I'm gonna draw, hopefully draw some answers.
Did you mark the trigger?
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm at 13, you're at 31. And this is really our only answer to Obsidat, which really stinks. So we will pass the turn, buddy.
Untap, upkeep. Come in, trigger.
I go to 11, you go to 33.
Sure, draw turn. Angel.
Yep.
Combat.
Yep.
Both these guys.
That kind of stinks. We were really hoping he'd swing with the Obsidat, but he knows that we've got the Azorius Charm in the Drown Yard, and Zach's smarter than that. So we go to 9.
Main phase 2.
Sure.
Mulch.
Sure. Find some lands.
Hey! Find a cavern.
Gross.
It's not a land. Beast Angel. Flashback Rites. Or not Rites, where is it?
Lingering Souls?
Yep.
Alright.
We're gonna make him Terminus, because if he doesn't, he's just dead. Pass the turn.
The plan is actually, before you phase out, to cast the Azorius Charm and hope we hit a Terminus.
Sure.
We did not. So he phases out.
Yeah.
Draw for turn. So we've gotten all the answers a little late, I guess, is the best way to put that. We will go ahead and Terminus. My Augur is on the bottom of my library. Your guy comes into play on your upkeep. Yeah. So you're at 7, or I'm at 7, you're at 35.
Cool.
Your go.
I dig. Draw for turn. Gavany.
Sure.
Or cast Acidic Slime. Target Hallowed Fountain.
Untapped.
No. Yeah, the untapped one. Yeah.
Float blue.
Yep. Pass turn.
Gross.
Face out.
Lay a Water Grave tapped and pass.
Untap. Upkeep. Come in.
Yep.
Trigger.
Actually,
Shoot.
1 second. I played this Water Grave untapped because I just realized that I only have one sequence of plays that saves me.
Fine.
So I'm at 5, and then Obsidat comes into play. I go to 3, and then you're at 37. No, the only thing that I can do. Well, I know my deck really well, and the only possible thing that saves me is before you go to combat, or when you go to combat, I Drown Yard, mill myself for 3, hit a Think twice, cast that Think twice, pull a Terminus off the top, and do that.
No.
I'm gonna try.
You can try, but like.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Are you sure there's no like better way to do this? Yeah, go to combat.
Sure.
Both.
Alright, so we drown ourselves. And we don't hit it, so we're dead. I have 2 counter spells.
Another cavern.
Must be nice.
Yep.
All the caverns. Zach's deck actually runs 3 caverns. Anyway, so I just got creamed by Unburial Rites, which is fine. I feel like Unburial Rites has a pretty good matchup, especially Zach's deck with the main board caverns. Against,
why don't more people don't run them?
Because the mana's already kind of tight.
I don't usually have a problem with it.
So that's my Esper deck. That's Zach's Unburial Rites deck. This is a matchup that I feel like is going to be happening all over the place at the Star City Invitational in Atlanta. I will be judging the standard portion on Saturday and playing in the legacy portion on Sunday. Zach will be playing in the standard portion, and I don't know what he's going to do Sunday other than like cheer me on in my legacy event.
Well,
So
what he's not doing.
he's not playing legacy or judging is what Zach's saying. Well, I have no idea.
Yes, you do.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about. Come on, man. Alright, so thanks a bunch for watching. Let me know if you like these Magic the Gathering videos. I know that a lot of people do like them on this Everyday Alchemy channel because they consistently get about 1,000 views, which is a start, but I'd really like to start making these like once a week, every week on Wednesday, not Tuesday night, which is kind of awkward, but because I've started managing a comic book and game store, and I have a lot of free time on Wednesday because it's D&D night, and I don't play D&D, I just run the store, and so I'd have plenty of time to make more Magic videos. And if this is something that you guys are interested in, I'd really like to make Everyday Alchemy into like a dedicated channel for it and see if we can't build up a community around that, and you guys can help me become a better player. So as always, thanks for watching. I guess I'm gonna sign off now.